Take the critics and your fear. There's no easy way to hear. And all the memories you love to bring. With all the things that you hate to scream. So tell me, hollow on the inside. There's no trying to hide from this monster inside me. So if you try to criticize me,
Mason Graham at number 5. It's funny because as soon as we traded the pick, the exact words out of my mouth was, we're going to take Mason effing Graham. And I meant that as a negative. But listen, at the end of the day, Mason Graham is a very good football player. I don't think he is the high-level talent of like a Jalen Carter a couple of years ago. That's not who you're getting, in my opinion, but you are getting somebody who is elite at a different skill set than a guy like Jalen Carter. Mason Graham is by far the best run defender in this draft, and I think he comes into the league and he's one of the best run defenders in the NFL. Day one as a rookie, he has that quality. And you guys know, if you know me or you've seen this show, I'm diehard Ohio State, and I've watched Mason Graham literally destroy the run game because for some reason we kept trying to run the ball. And he was single-handedly just dominating. So he's a great run defender. That's his number one skill set. Jim Schwartz finally gets probably what he was hoping when we drafted Siaki Ika. But as far as a pass rush goes, Mason Graham is good in the pass rush. I just don't want people to think he's this outer world pass rusher. He's not. He's got great power. He relies solely on power and technique. He's not going to beat you with speed. He's not the quickest or the fastest or the most elusive, but he's nasty. He's cold. Mason Graham is that dude. And I'm excited to have a guy like that can plug up the middle. And Tristan, when we think long-term, right? Mike Hall Jr. last year is your pass rush guy. That's your slippery, quick, aggressive, elusive, you know what I mean? And you pair him with Mason Graham there in the middle, you have your run defender. So I like the way that this defensive line is shaking out, Tristan. For everybody at home, Mason Graham's 6'3", 6'3 and a half, actually. I don't want to disrespect him on his height there. Roughly 300 pounds, played at Michigan, dominant, one of the best players in this draft, best defensive tackle in this draft. He goes to the Browns at number 5. Tristan, what say you, sir?
Yeah, so if we look at Mason Graham, you're absolutely right. He is a force of nature and has been throughout his entire time in college. In particular, obviously, the Ohio State game is the first thing that comes to mind. Ohio State was hell-bent on running the football and trying to show that they were a more gritty team than Michigan. And they played right into the hands of Michigan, which meant that they were playing into the hands of Mason Graham. He, in college, was the most dominant interior defender. In the whole, in all of college, he was the most dominant interior defender. And I don't even think it was particularly close. He's just a vicious, violent man. And I love this pick, Derek. I think that he fits perfectly with Jim Schwartz and what we're looking to do. And I think we finally have an interior guy capable of taking advantage of what Myles Garrett can expose on an offensive line. I see this as somebody who he's going to be standing right next to Myles Garrett. And, I think that's the best spot for him to be in. In particular, when we talk about the run game, a lot of teams like to run right at Myles Garrett because he gets to the backfield so quick. running back usually is right past him. So we've got somebody there who is, like you said, he's an elite run stuffer. He's going to plug up the area. He's going to find the guy. He's going to get him to the ground, eliminate those big plays. And I told you that was something that I was really, really worried about when we let go of Dalvin Tomlinson, that we weren't going to be able to find somebody who did that, and we'd be in a precarious situation. But we've got Mason Graham now, and I think it fits beautifully. I also think that with Mason Graham, you know what you're getting. I feel like it's a fairly low risk move. At a very minimum, he's going to be a long-time starter in the league. That's your bare minimum. And for what he does, it's valuable. It's a very, very valuable thing. So I really like this move. I will say something that shocks me about the Mason Graham pick is when we look at stuff that traditionally analytics guys value, like sometimes it's arm length, sometimes it's like height, broad jump, stuff like that. His measurables aren't necessarily the greatest, especially when we talk about physically, like his physical metrics. And, you see him in his suit and, like people are ripping him online and they just don't know that when he puts on those pads, he's a different human being. So I gotta say that did shock me that they were willing to make that pick because of the traditional analytics values. I think that they could have easily overlooked him, but I'm happy they didn't.